Is your magic meter running low? Well, we've got a cure for you. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaoli.
And I'm Patrick Dougal.
And I'm Bradley Pierce.
Mr. Bradley Pierce in the house, live on Disney Coast to Coast. If you don't know Mr. Bradley Pierce, he is the voice of Chip in Disney's classic film, Beauty and the Beast. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk to him all about that in a little bit, but we have to start our show the same way we do, or that we have for the last 33 weeks, and that's with Frozen of the Week.
The Frozen News of the Week.
Ding!
There you go.
There's a jingle.
There's a jingle.
It comes out sometimes it doesn't. Depends on how excited we are about the Frozen News of the Week.
True.
But I have to say, Patrick and I thought we were done with Frozen of the Week. We were well prepared to tell you that was the end of it because we didn't know of any Frozen News of the Week this week. But then Brad came over and let us know about a little toy that came out.
It's the Olaf-a-Lot, and it's a little 21-inch tall Olaf that you press his nose and he tells you snowman jokes.
And it came out this week.
Yeah, it came out this week for Easter, I guess, was their big release point.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And his son is in the commercial, which is why you knew about
That's the
this.
only reason I knew, but he was an extra in the commercial, so.
Yeah, we were like, no Frozen News of the Week this week.
Patrick was very excited to see it end.
Almost.
And this we're at what now? I think week 34. Yeah. This is week 34 of Frozen.
It looks like we're still going strong.
Sorry. You're welcome.
It's all right. Either way, it works for us. The people love it. So frankly, like there are weeks where we record the show like far in advance because we're going on vacation or whatever, and so we won't do Frozen of the Week because it doesn't make sense, and we'll catch up when we come back. But we get emails like, "What was the Frozen of the Week?" So it's you're welcome from Bradley.
There you go.
He's excited.
Now everyone can go pick up an Olaf.
An Olaf-a-Lot.
Yeah, there it is.
Patrick, I want one for Easter.
Okay.
Okay. Anywho, before we talk to Brad about his experience on Beauty and the Beast, we do want to ask him the 5 questions that we ask all of our guests. Okay. Because we feel like it tells us a little bit about what kind of Disney fan you are. So, Patrick, why don't you start us off?
Okay. Right. Of course, all we have to ask is favorite Disney animated movie.
Favorite animated film? It's a tie. Well, it's a close tie. Either Lion King for the new, more modern Disney, or Peter Pan for the old Disney. I think I lean more towards Peter Pan just because it's that classic, timeless, ageless one. And that's mostly because of the story, but the animation was great too.
Yeah.
Peter Pan's such a good character.
Right?
I love Peter Pan. Awesome. Next part would be favorite Disney ride.
Favorite Disney ride? I don't know. I used to like the teacups, but that's not so much anymore.
When you become an adult, you tend to stop wanting to go on that.
It's weird because
it just makes you ill.
Motion sickness kicked in right around when I started driving. Like I used to be able to ride anything and spin around as much as I wanted, but now it's like 6 revolutions and I'm done.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I did teacups. You did it recently. I think you did it 5 times in a row.
3 and that was enough.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And when I do go on, sometimes, if I'm going with somebody who's like, it's a first timer at the park or whatever, and they're like, I want to do the teacups. I'm like, sure. I'm like, you can either go alone and spin and have a blast, or we can go on together and not spin. Like, it's one or the other.
You're like holding the wheel just to keep it stable.
It's brutal.
See, I go with my kids now, so we have to spin, but I'm letting them spin because they're 9 and 6. The road, we're spinning, but it's not crazy. If I get in there, that's so good. But anyway, now I would probably say Soarin' over California, in California Adventure.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Really excited about those updates coming too.
Yes, currently closed at Disney California Adventure. It's still open in Florida right now?
Yes, still open.
So in Disney California, and all of them, I guess, they're doing projection upgrades as well as a new film. So should be pretty exciting. We're pretty stoked. I'm ready for a change for Soarin'.
Yeah.
Wondering what the new name's going to be. You said Soarin'?
I think it's Soarin' over the world just because I think they're doing more just the world atmosphere besides just California. But Well, we'll see. I know they did new filming already at Disneyland about last year, where they actually flew over Cars Land and DCA this time, so it's not just Disneyland.
Yeah, and I kind of hope that they fly over all of the Disney parks all over the world. Like, that would be awesome.
Yeah, just for that little piece
Yeah.
of the Disney tradition.
Yeah. And if they could add a new smell, what smell would you want in Soarin'? Let me think.
Ooh, they should put in popcorn when you're flying over one of the parks.
Okay,
That'd
popcorn
be
works.
cool.
And then everybody'd come out hungry, too. So
That's
all
true.
there. Yeah, marketing.
Hey, there you go.
Marketing.
They're already doing that over on like downtown Disney stuff. That kennel corn does not really smell that strong. I'm sorry, folks, but
what else could they add in?
Well, they have oranges, pine,
In the ocean.
ocean.
what else? What else?
I feel like those are typical smells.
There's a really specific smell to the desert that they don't have in there now.
They
It would
should
be
just
kinda cool.
throw sand at us so that our eyes, are really dry. I think that would make it very
It's gonna be
authentic.
40 now.
Yeah, right. Cool. So soaring over California, favorite ride. Sounds good.
Cool. Favorite Disney song? Now, this could be from a movie or a theme park or anything.
Favorite song? I like "Grim Grinning Ghosts" from Haunted Mansion. That one's got a lot of memories for me, and I've always sort of been a Halloween kind of guy. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually where we met.
Yep.
We were working Halloween Horror Nights together at a little competition company. But yeah.
Yeah, one of those other movie
Yeah.
companies.
Yeah, you love the haunt stuff.
I do. I've been
love it.
doing haunts, some sort of professional haunt for 12 years now. I didn't do last year, and the only other year I missed since I turned 18 was 2005.
Oh.
And that's because my son was due September 30th, and I was not going to be an hour and a half away in Buena Park in full makeup trying to scare people when that happened.
Yeah.
So,
That would be
That's
great.
understandable.
yeah,
But yeah, I think it's funny how many of us Disney obsessed folks are also like horror obsessed.
Yeah.
folks. It's such a weird little
it's balance. You
guess
need
so.
the comedy and tragedy. You need the
magic and
horror.
murder. It's,
Yes.
it's funny. Okay, so what was that? Favorite Disney song was Grim Grinning Ghost. Favorite Disney theme park show or parade?
Well, I've only been to Disneyland and California Adventure and also Euro Disney. I didn't see any of the shows or parades when I was there, but
It's fun because it's half English and half French.
I've heard that. I actually ran into somebody who played Belle, but that's another conversation another time. But I think I love the Main Street Electrical Parade. That was the one that I kind of grew up with. That was the favorite when I was little. That was my first Disney parade experience.
That song gets stuck in your head.
Oh my god! So, and just in case folks don't know this, that song is not original to the Main Street Electrical Parade. What's it called? Like the Barack Hoedown or something
I
like that.
have no
It has
idea.
some weird name. But a lot of people think that obviously that digitized version is unique to the parade. But that song was not written for the parade. Just a little FYI tidbit because.
Sorry. It's your fault.
They put a little bit of it in the Paint the Night music. Like the
very
intro for Paint the Night and stuff it's there. So it's a nice little nod to Main Street Electrical Parade. So that's
Excited
cool.
for that.
That'll be fun.
Yes.
And finally, of course, favorite Disney theme park.
They've done 3 of them.
Yeah.
When you went to Disneyland Paris, was the studios opened as well, or was it just the Disneyland?
It was just the park.
Okay.
I was
only the one park.
it was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Cool. So we
was a
got
very
3
long time
options: Disneyland Paris, or Disney California Adventure, or Disneyland.
I really like California Adventure as an amusement park. I think it's got the best blend of, rides for adults, rides for kids. I think that's the best park overall.
Okay.
But I love the theming and the magic of the original Disneyland. I think that one's got, So if I'm going to an amusement park, I like California Adventure. But if I want to have that Disney magic experience, it's got to be Disneyland.
Definitely.
Solid answer. Cool. Well, that was fun. Thanks for answering our 5 questions.
Yes.
But now let's talk about the real reason you're here. You're a little boy. How old were you?
I was 7 when I officially got cast. I recorded for 8 and 9. Actually, almost 2.5 years of
Wow.
recording for that
Wow.
show, for that movie. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so you get Beauty and the Beast. Was this like, how many gigs had you had before this? Was this like your first major thing? 'Cause that's huge.
It was my first big studio thing. I had done probably between 4 and 6 commercials. I'd done a couple of guest spots on TV, some other little voiceover stuff, but this was the first big movie thing. And it was really exciting. But it was about a year and a half between when I first auditioned and when they actually called me and said, hey, yeah, we want you to come in and record that line.
Really?
Wow.
That line that you have.
Now, so 7, 8, 9, so your voice doesn't really change that much at that age.
Not much. They did a little bit of pitch control as I got a little older. They said they brought some of it up just a little. Just because, I mean, my voice hadn't dropped, but there was just a little more maturity. And so they...
That's a long process. That's longer than I realized. That's crazy.
Well, part of the reason that character in particular took so long is they kept rewriting it.
Oh, really?
Chip originally only had one line. It was "Mama, there's a girl in the castle."
I love that line.
and the rest of the lines were going to be delivered by a music box character that just chimed. Just made, little musical notes and sort of danced through the scenes. They decided that they wanted to have a child in the story to bring the children's window into the story.
I love that they cast children in general. With the Disney movies, when they're children, they cast children. And it's always fantastic. Like, Pinocchio is one of the greatest voiceover performances ever. And it's a little boy. Simba, same thing. Chip, same thing. Like, so often in TV shows and stuff, probably because of the grueling schedule, they have adults or, adult women doing the voices of little boys. So I think it's great when they have young boys doing the voices. And
there's two main reasons I think that they use women and adults as the voices for television and movies when they can get away with it. One of it is the schedule. But the other is also, if you have an adult woman do the voice, like Tara Strong is one of the major voices for...
Tommy Pickles.
And
Right?
Ben Tennyson and
My Little Pony.
My Little Pony. Not to get off on her career, but that's she is huge. But part of the reason that they use her so often is because not only can she do the little boy voice, but she does the little girl voice and the woman voice and the...
True.
And she'll do 6 voices in one episode.
That's something that, like, maybe people don't know is in the voiceover industry, it's very rare for one person, unless it's a feature. If it's a TV show, one person is usually doing 3, 4, 5 voices.
Yeah.
And it's because of the moolah. It's cheaper. So, but in any case, I'm happy they cast young children.
I love that they actually use kids where kids are supposed to be.
That's awesome. So, you worked with some huge names.
I did.
Huge names. I just, does a 7, 8, 9-year-old boy get this?
No. No. To be completely honest, I mean, I knew who Angela Lansbury was.
From what? What was the thing that you...
It was Murder, She Wrote.
Okay.
I think my grandma watched it. My mom watched it. One of them watched that regularly, so I knew who she was. But basically everybody else was just like, oh, hey, good to meet you. Good to get to talk to you. But I didn't know who they were, until afterwards, and it was like, oh, so that's the guy from that show, and oh, he was on that, and who they were and their names, it didn't matter. It was just exciting to be in that experience.
Yeah. Well, another one of the things that happens in voiceover is so often you're actually not performing with the people that you're performing with on screen. So in this case, how was that? Were you performing with Angela Lansbury and such?
No, the only things they recorded as a group were songs, and I don't sing. So Chip didn't sing, so I actually never recorded in the room with any of the other actors. I would see them either coming or going, they'd be coming out of the booth as I'm going in or vice versa, but we didn't really work together.
It's kind of sad.
It is. But I mean, we saw each other at the screening and the premiere, and then the re-release, they did a big thing. They flew us all out to New York for the, I guess it was the first re-release, or the second. When they did the 3D.
Yeah.
That one.
So that wasn't, what was that, like 3-4 years ago?
No, that was.
Was that longer?
Almost 10 years ago.
No. Oh. Please tell me this.
No, they did a.
I wasn't. I know it was more than 10 years ago because I wasn't married yet.
Okay.
God.
Okay,
so some re-release happened.
Yeah, because my wife would have come with me.
Yeah.
If she had been my wife.
But yeah, just 3-4 years ago, they did a theater release of Beauty and the Beast in 3D.
Okay, so if they did the theater release 3-4 years ago, then the full theatrical with the 3D would have been 11 or 12 years ago. And that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Because it's every 7 years they reopen that vault.
It's unbelievable. You get a nice
time flies.
But it's like, oh, time flies. fat residual check from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh.
I guess it's been 7 years.
They shrink a little every time, but yes, it's still wonderful. I make a joke out of it whenever I go to the P.O. box to get my residual checks, because sometimes I'll get a stack of like 30 of them because I haven't been there in a couple weeks. And it's like, ooh, let's see, 4 cents.
Great.
17 cents. We make a game out of it. You look at the gross, you see, okay, it's $5.47. I'm going to guess $2.75 after taxes. And everybody who happens to be with me will all guess. We'll see who's closest. But fun. Yeah, it's a big stack of 30 checks. $80. That's not bad. I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
but
right?
it's like, oh.
Now, one of the interesting things that happened with Beauty and the Beast was so you were mentioning earlier, like the modern classics of Disney. It was the beginning of the first Disney Renaissance. We're now in the second one. But there was Little Mermaid, which was huge and my personal favorite Disney movie. But
Hottest Disney princess, by the way.
I love Ariel very much. But that was huge, like way bigger than the studio ever expected it to be. And I've heard that when they were doing Beauty and the Beast, they were like, "Don't worry, we know, like we're not expecting it to do mermaid numbers." And then I believe it surpassed Mermaid, right?
I don't know. I think it may have, but
It was huge.
It was very huge.
It was huge.
And then the Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
It was the first and last Best Picture or animated film to be nominated for Best Picture.
That may or may not be true. We'll find out at
that's
trivia
100%
time.
true.
No, there's 2 others that actually have been.
Which ones?
We'll find out at trivia at the end of the show.
Well,
Okay,
it's 100%
spectacular.
true that it was nominated.
Yes, it was nominated as, you're right, it was the first animated
one.
film ever to be nominated for Best Picture, and the only one to be nominated for Best Picture before there was a Best Animated category. So the other 2 I'm speaking of were not only nominated for Best Animated, they were also nominated for Best Picture.
Really?
So, but we'll talk about that at the end of the
Okay,
episode.
trivia time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But
'cause I didn't.
I believe it was nominated and won for Best Song that year.
Yeah, Alan Menken won, yes. Okay, oh my God. I know you didn't sing in the movie, but did you do anything with Alan Menken? No. Did you meet Alan Menken?
Yes, I did meet him.
Is he lovely?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Okay.
And he was actually at the re-release too.
That's awesome.
That was fun. That was very cool.
He's just one of those people that it's just like mind blown.
Well,
like shaped my childhood.
As a Disney freak, the other person that I've met and actually had conversations with, I've heard him play the piano. He has sung Chim Chimney.
Oh, Dick Sherman.
Dick Sherman.
He's the nicest guy. I
He's
think we've all
incredible.
met him then.
Yeah.
At this point.
He's an awesome guy.
Yes. Love Dick Sherman.
Not to take anything from Alan Menken.
No, but that was like a pass of the baton as well. There were the Sherman brothers, then it went to Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, and now we've got like the Bobby Lopez thing going on. So it's interesting. But yeah, Alan, that was one of the things I was like, I know Chip doesn't sing, but I hope you got to work with him in
we
some
did meet.
respect.
I did meet him. We did sort of. He wanted to find out if I could sing.
As a little boy?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
cute.
I couldn't.
And you're
really
like,
sing.
nope, this isn't happening.
Can't carry a tune if you put it in a paper bag.
Nice. And then, of course, after the movie, I can't remember how many years after, but it wasn't that long, it becomes a huge Broadway hit.
Yeah, first one for Disney.
Yeah, the first Disney theatricals release. Everybody in the theater community was like, this is a joke. This Disney does
never
theme
gonna
park
work.
shows. Not going to work. Had you seen it? Have you ever seen it?
I saw it when it came through on tour. It came through and went to the Pantages.
Yeah, just last year or 2 years ago, something like that.
A year and a half ago, something like
Yeah.
that. I saw it when it came through.
Cool.
Very
it's a great show. Great new music by Alan Menken. And who does the lyrics now? Is it Tim Rice who does?
I believe Tim Rice added the additional song.
What did you think of the additional song for the DVD release of
Human Again? Well, I think that was
which is in the Broadway show.
It was interesting because they added it to the Broadway show, and then they wanted to add it as written for the Broadway show to the video, but they couldn't because on all of the release it says starring the original voice cast. I don't sing.
Yes.
In the Broadway version, Chip sings in Human Again. So
As
they had
one line, I believe,
to rewrite it and pull that line out, or give it to someone else. I don't know exactly how they managed it, because I couldn't do it.
just for my own
Yeah, just because of
pleasure.
my failure.
No, just for my pleasure. Let's just hear you say, "I can't wait to be human again."
I can't wait to be human again.
Score! The original Chip has now sung the line from Human Again right here officially on Disney Coast to Coast.
That is the first time that has ever happened.
Score!
Ever.
We convinced him. So you mentioned your kids. Have they seen Beauty and the Beast, and do they know?
Yeah, they have seen Beauty and the Beast, and they know that I'm Chip. Like, my eldest son, whenever we go out somewhere, he's like, "Oh, this is my dad. He was Chip in Beauty and the Beast. He was in Jumanji." Like, he just starts going through my whole resume, but he leads with Beauty and the Beast or Jumanji, depending on who we're talking to. I got him trained.
Speaking of Jumanji, since we went there, and this, of course, is not a Disney movie, but Little Monkey Boy in Jumanji, and I've got to ask, just because it's such, the late, great, fabulous, wonderful Robin Williams, you worked a lot with him in that film, and of course, he's a Disney legend. He's a legend, but he's also a legitimate Disney legend. Was the genie in Aladdin, and anything about working with him that like Disney viewers would just love to hear, or what was that experience like?
Oh, he's absolutely incredible. One of the most generous people I've ever worked with. His time and his talent, he shared that with everybody. And I was fairly new in the industry.
This was post Beauty and the Beast,
yeah.
right? Okay.
I was 12, 13
Okay.
during the filming of that, and I'd started when I was about 6. So I'd been in the business, 6, 7 years. But any questions I had about anything, and how do you do this, or what happens if they ask you to do that, and he was really supportive of all of that. The prosthetic makeup that I had to wear was a 3.5-hour application process and an hour to remove.
Made you love
He was the
voiceover
only
more.
person there that had experienced that, because it was after Doubtfire.
Okay.
So he was that like shoulder to lean on in that too. It's like, well, how do I eat?
Yeah.
Sounds stupid, but you can't eat because it'll break down the lips. So, he's like, well, try these shakes. You can do this protein shake thing. And so that's what I did. He was an advisor to me on all things cinematic. He's just an amazing guy. And he was always very almost fatherly in the way he dealt with Kirsten Dunst and I. He was very caring, made sure we were always taken care of. I mean, obviously our parents were there and there was a studio teacher there, but there were times where he stepped up and said, why don't you go ahead and get them out of the water and have them sit and have some tea or whatever, since we don't need them in here right now.
Yeah.
He was looking out for everybody's well-being in addition to just making an amazing film. He was a great guy.
Was there ever any Beauty and the Beast versus Aladdin conversations happening?
Not
He'd
that I
done
can
Aladdin
recall.
at that point, right?
Yeah, he had done Aladdin.
So you guys had that little Disney
Yeah,
connection.
not that I can recall. I don't think we ever really got into that.
The genie's better than the Beast. That's fun. Well, thanks for sharing that.
No problem.
Well, I know we hit you with some questions at Beauty and the Beast, but was there any like specific stories you had while recording the movie, or anything that stuck out to you?
Okay. There's 2 really good ones that I can think of. One, in the first scene when you really see Chip, when he gets thrown into the bathtub, and then he comes up and he spits the water, and he goes, "See, I told you." That happened because I had spent part of the summer at my uncle's house, and he had a pool. And he taught me how to do that with the water. And I felt it necessary to show the voice director and the producers that I knew that. And they decided they were going to try to animate that in, and they did. At that time, they were videotaping all of the voiceover stuff. So they had me do it, and then they added it in. So that was
great.
So that little spray, I didn't actually spray the microphone, but I actually showed them I knew how to do that, and they built it in.
It's awesome.
One of the other funny ones, and it was another thing where a line later in the movie grew out of it, was when Maurice first picks Chip up and goes to take a drink. "His mustache tickles, Mama." I always read my lines 3 times. And I was a good reader, so they wouldn't usually give me a reading beforehand. And I would sort of just guess what feel they wanted. And I did it, and one of the deliveries was, "His mustache tickles Mama." And the entire booth starts laughing hysterically. And I'm sitting in there going, what's so funny? I don't get it. And one of them said, "We'll tell you when you're older." Which comes in later with the, not Human Again, the something there that wasn't there before. What's there, Mama? Oh. "See, I'll tell you when you're older, Chip." It grew out of that. "That's awesome." "His mustache tickles Mama." I get it now.
That's one of the best stories ever. I love that story. Oh, man.
That's one of my favorites.
That's great. I love that so much. That's so
Good.
crazy. of course, Beauty and the Beast is not going anywhere anytime soon. Did you have any more questions about the animated film?
No.
Okay. Y'all know what we're getting at. Beauty and the Beast live action. It's been announced. It's happening.
Yeah.
Most of the cast has already been out.
Most of the cast, yeah. And there's a release date, March 17th, 2017. So we got a couple of years to wait.
Which means we'll see previews starting next year.
Yeah, exactly. I have to say, this is actually the one I'm most excited about. I said earlier, Little Mermaid is my favorite animated, but I actually don't care to see that as a live-action film. I don't think it would translate well. Beauty and the Beast, I'm so excited for so many reasons. Awesome story, but also it's going to be a musical. You mentioned the cast. Emma Watson.
Yes.
As Belle.
Absolutely.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Okay.
All right, we'll just do one.
Dan Stevens from Downton Abbey playing the Beast. I don't. I can't say. I only know him from Downton Abbey, so I can't.
I like him. I think he's got the look for it. I don't know if he's got the
Gravitas.
Yes, gravitas.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. So we're in the middle of everything. Yeah. We got Emma Thompson as Mrs. Potts. Your mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like her.
Now, here's my question: are they going to be CG? Because, like, are we going to go Broadway route? First of all, let me just say briefly, if you've never seen the Broadway show, I think the biggest, like, weird thing about the Broadway show is, okay, these items that were little objects in the movie are now, like, human-sized. They do the best job in the writing of the Broadway show fixing this because the stories that they're slowly transforming into these items, so like the last part of the transformation is shrinking down to size, which of course we never see, but that's a fantastic way of dealing with that problem. I was very impressed with that. So I'm curious if the movie's going to go that route or CG. My guess is CG.
I'm assuming, and actually part of me hopes, that they'll film it in a way where they film all of the miniatures, all of the enchanted people separately, and then overlay them onto whatever footage of Belle or the Beast or whatever. Almost like The Borrowers, which was another film I did with John Goodman, not Disney.
It's all right. It's all right. We like.
But because there were people that were 1/16 human size, and then there were the people, and they did a really good job of meshing the two together. I think that would be a fun way to do the film. I don't know how they could make it work with the inanimate shapes of the cups and what have you, but I think it could be fun.
Never thought of that one. What are you hoping for?
I assume there may be some. I assume it's gonna be CG, but I'm hoping for some maybe like motion capture work.
I thought mocap as well. Yeah. Have you done motion capture?
I've done a little, just as like a audition for video games and stuff like that, but not much of it. Never as a performance thing.
Cool. So that was Emma Thompson, a.k.a. Mrs. Banks. Not Mrs. Banks, I'm sorry. Mrs. Travers. Woo! Don't write in. We corrected it. Mrs. Travers.
We know.
Then there's Luke Evans playing Gaston from The Hobbit. I have to say, I'm not a huge Hobbit fan, so I don't really know. You're saying yes? Good choice?
I don't know him either. I don't know his work.
I think it was a better choice as far as they were trying to get Eddie Redmayne at first.
Yeah, I'd heard that.
For Gaston, and he's like the skinniest guy.
He passed, right?
I believe
he
so.
passed.
I mean, he has a great singing voice, which would have been great, but they would have had to do some like major CGI like they do in like Captain America almost. Yeah. But I think Luke Evans is great. He definitely has that dark, manly, like, image.
Beyond that, this is an interesting choice. I think Kevin Kline as Maurice. In the middle.
I like him, actually.
I just don't see him as an old man yet. Like, that's the problem. He is, I guess.
But he can do the push broom mustache so well, and he's got the right look. I mean, maybe a little taller than Maurice should be, I think, but I think it'll work.
I mean, let's be honest, they had Helena Bonham Carter play Fairy Godmother.
That's true.
And so
that was weird casting.
They could not go the age route, but he could just be crazy in general.
Yeah, and then to me, the most exciting, most perfect casting of the movie, Josh Gad as LeFou is just like, bing, 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 major thumbs up. Like, genius, perfection. Yes, no, maybe so?
I don't
You're
know.
Like,
Josh
you went for that role, didn't you?
No.
You're like, I wanted that role.
That would have been awesome. That would have been cool.
I mean, I think Olaf and LeFou are like almost the same characters. They're both like dumbed down sidekicks.
Yeah. I just think visually he looks so much the part that was like, oh my God, that's perfect. I never even thought of that. That's crazy. And of course, a huge Broadway name, Audra McDonald, is playing, I didn't even know this character's name, but Garderobe, apparently, is the big, like, the dresser.
There was,
Wardrobe.
who did the original one? Trying to remember
So,
her
was
name.
it an opera singer or something?
Yeah. She's a name.
She's wonderful.
I can't.
Great.
And I've met her a couple times. I cannot.
We're gonna
Can't remember right
blame Bradley on this one.
Yeah.
That's
Blame me. But
his
she's
fault.
amazing. Yeah.
Email him, not us.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait. What?
So yeah, that's a pretty huge cast. Overall, like I said, I'm just excited. One other thing I have to mention, just because I'm a huge fan, Stephen Chbosky is writing the script. I'm a huge Perks of Being a Wallflower fan. Love the book, love the movie. He wrote the script for the movie as well as directed it. Thrilled. Which I wonder if he had any influence for Emma.
That's what I was gonna say.
Thompson.
She could. Or Emma Watson.
Emma Watson, rather.
Yeah.
Too many Emmas.
Because she originally passed on Cinderella before she was offered Belle.
Yeah.
So Disney really wanted her to do something.
Well, but Belle is the right role for her. I don't
Exactly.
think Cinderella would have been. So that was a
Correct.
good decision.
Yeah. But Stephen Chbosky. Thumbs up. Yay! And so today, Patrick, they announced some news earlier this week, which was some more live action. Mulan is happening.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, it was very recently they announced this. Mulan is now going to be a live action film. I don't think this one's going to be a musical. That's what my gut's telling me. There's very, very, very little information about it. It was literally just announced, oh, we're going to make a live action Mulan. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all of this live action stuff.
In general, I think that they should try to come up with some new and creative ideas.
Thumbs up to that point, Bradley.
I think Enchanted was a great example of that.
Yeah.
When they did that, and its own story, own princess.
Yes, it was tied together with the other Disney princesses. It all fit together, but it was
Something
creative
new.
and different. And it did a great job of parodying itself too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It didn't take it too seriously.
And Alan Menken wrote music for it.
There's that.
Thumbs up to Alan Menken. A lot of thumbs up tonight.
But yeah, I mean, I don't not like the live actions. I mean, I like Cinderella a lot.
Yeah.
But I do agree, I want new things as well. And if they're just gonna keep redoing the same stories and just make them live action, I don't know how long that will last for.
There's 38 movies in the catalog.
Yeah. And then there's Dumbo's happening. Tim Burton directing Dumbo. So we got those two to look forward to. Are there any that you guys want that haven't been announced yet? And Jungle Book's happening, of course.
Two of them.
Yeah, Jungle Book, actually, there's two of them. There's Warner Brothers and there's Disney.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I knew that they did the live action ones.
Oh, God,
What,
I forgot about, in the
15,
early 90s
20
or
years ago,
something.
yeah.
I forgot all about those. Yeah. But yes, it's happening again. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know. Are there any that, completely honestly, Beauty and the Beast is the one that I would have said that's the one I want to see.
I think Aladdin
I was gonna
would
say
make
Aladdin,
great.
too.
And they'd have to keep it musical,
Yes.
Yeah.
but I think it would work live action.
I think, oh God, I don't think they'd touch that because I don't think anybody wants to see anybody else play the genie.
Yeah.
I'll agree.
Unless they just took that voice and CG to Genie into a live action.
Or what they could do is do a ensemble cast for Genie. If Genie was voiced by De Niro and all of the people who
That he impersonates.
Rob Williams did an impression of, they'd never do it, but it would be hysterical.
That would be funny.
But yeah, I think Aladdin would be mine as well.
Cool. Solid choices. Before we move on, just another quick little thing that I read on Twitter, and I think it's a fun little fact. If you're going to Walt Disney World, sticking in the whole Beauty and the Beast realm here, Be Our Guest restaurant, we've talked about it. Have you heard about it? Awesome restaurant. But we mentioned recently how they're having breakfast options now. And somebody tweeted, people who pay separately get a pastry tray per check rather than per group. So if you're going to be our guest with a bunch of friends, each of you pay separately because you'll each get a pastry tray. And I think that's a great little trip.
Interesting.
Yeah, otherwise one person pays. It's like one little pastry tray per table. But
And it's a good amount. I saw a picture. It's like 5-6 pastries.
We love
a
sweets.
cinnamon
That
bun,
is
a
a lot
croissant.
of food.
so just so you know, I thought it would be a little helpful.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Hacking the park in one little bit at a time.
Yeah. That was so much Beauty and the Beast talk. We're so running out of time and so going over. But we have to mention Easter is coming up this
Yes.
upcoming weekend. So we do want to mention there's some fantastic stuff going on. Patrick, why don't you take Walt Disney World real quickly?
Oh, well, a lot of their Easter stuff is happening over at Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
They have their Easter egg hunt over there, the extravaganza. Usually they do a like little Easter-y thing.
An Easter-y thing.
Before the parade.
A pre-parade, yes.
Pre-parade.
At the Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom, yeah. And that'll be in front of Festival of Fantasy for the first time. Mm-hmm. Second time. Would it? Maybe was Easter? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
April 20th last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
So don't correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was April 20th last year. Oh, God. I'm not going to remember Easter from a year. I think it was April 20th.
You got to fact check
You know
all
what?
this stuff.
No, it actually was because I got my annual pass on Easter, which was April 20th, because I
go.
have to renew very soon.
There you go.
So don't leave me a comment about that. There's that, and also Mr. and Mrs. Easter Bunny. You can meet at the
Always
Magic
out.
Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get Mrs. Bunny here. We only get Mr. Easter Bunny.
But we get a consolation prize of all the other bunnies.
Yes, we got a lot of bunnies here, so you can do that. There's also the extravaganza both at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. Patrick and I did it.
Yes, we did.
It looks like so much fun.
It's harder than you think.
It's real hard.
Just gonna say that. It's harder than you think. And
Wait, you get like a map though, right? That tells you the
get-
approximate area? Okay.
Yes.
you get this.
Alright.
But
here's the
don't look
thing.
at our stickers and
Yeah,
cheat.
don't like no cheating. But the problem is, we'll show it real quick. That's our map. And they tell you, but there's one on here that's like this building that like nobody, we literally asked like 5 cast members, none of them knew where.
And there's no like direct location. It will say like the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, but where in the Tower of Terror?
Because that's a big space.
yeah.
Yeah. So, they give you it's fun. It's just a lot harder than I ever expected it to be.
Gotcha. So this would be like spend a whole day trying to find the egg.
2.5
so
hours
that-
total, I think, for
Okay.
both parks.
For both, yeah. I would say
That's not bad.
spend like an hour 15 each park.
Yeah. So
That's not bad then. That's
So just a lot of walking. You walk the entire park.
yeah. I think it's trivia time. Yeah.
Is it?
I think it's like way past trivia time, but we're going to go there. So, Patrick, why don't you start and ask both of us a trivia question?
All right.
Feel free to jump in if you know the answer.
This one's pretty easy. Hopefully you'll get it. Beauty and the Beast related.
Who was the voice of Chip in Disney's Beauty and the Beast?
Oh, you got
I
it.
know this guy.
Mr. Bradley Pierce.
Yes.
Ding ding. No. What's that?
In the movie, Belle rides a horse to Beast Castle.
Yep.
Do you know the name of said horse?
Ding. Philippe.
Yep.
Yay!
Philippe. Ding 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 ding.
Philippe was
I
the
want to
horse.
play the horse in
Who
the live
was
action
voiced
movie.
by...
It was me.
Wouldn't it be amazing if it was Frank Oz? Everything.
That would be awesome.
I don't think it was though.
No, I don't believe so.
Starring Frank
It was
Oz as the
probably-
voice of Philippe.
It was probably an animator. So my trivia question kind of came up a bit earlier. It was about the Best Picture nominations. Now, as we said, Beauty and the Beast was the first ever animated movie to be nominated for Best Picture. And since then, they've created a Best Animated category. And since then, there are 2 movies that were nominated for Best Animated Movie as well as Best Picture. Neither of them won, but do you know what the other 2 could have been?
Were they Disney?
Yes. Disney,
Pixar.
My guess
Yes.
is Up.
Mine
Up,
is
correct.
too.
Yep.
And another one? Also Disney Pixar?
Toy Story 3.
Yes. Very good.
Really?
Toy Story 3. Up in Toy
It's a
Story 3.
good movie, but a Academy Award?
Yeah,
Wow.
best picture. But yes. Anyway, I got a little surprise for you folks watching. Of course, we love to do giveaways on this show, and I have a few little chip images here
Oh, look at those.
that Mr. Bradley Pierce, I'm sure, wouldn't mind signing for us.
I definitely will sign
We're gonna
those.
have him do it on camera, so that
It's official.
So it's indisputable.
And there are going to be a couple of different ways to win this. Of course, you can leave comments on YouTube, rather. Leave a comment below about your favorite casting choice for the new live-action Beauty and the Beast. Let us know who your favorite is.
Got one.
He signed it. And then another way is sign up for our e-note. Every week we put out a quick little e-note with our new episode and everything. You can do it at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. And there's actually a little gift for you there when you sign up as well, too. And there's a third for some other reason. And so yeah, sign up for the e-note, and that's a second additional entry for you. So there's a couple of different ways to win this. And I think that's gonna be it. How cute are these?
Right?
They're so cute. I love Chip. Anywho, that's gonna do it for us this week. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Bradley Pierce, for
Yes.
coming on to the show. Had a blast. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Shown to launch. Are we ready for this super exciting. The Lauren Houseman super exciting Disney news.
I guess.
Oh God, that was way messy.
Confetti!